What is up, guys? Welcome back to my reaction channel. It's your boy Chris, and today we're gonna be reacting to German Soldier Remembers World War II by Memoirs of World War II. Y'all know it is, guys. Also, we hit 130 subs today, 134 to be exact. Bro, I love you all for real. You guys are crazy as hell. Thank you all for supporting the channel. And for those who watch the video, haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now. Hit the bell button for post notification and make sure to like the video as well, to support the channel. With that being said, let's get into the intro.
The full name is Gert Friedrich Franz Schmitz.
Okay.
And I remember on September the 1st, 1939, Hitler was on the radio telling that the war started. Since 5 o'clock this morning, our troops marching into Poland, doing whatever they do best. 6 months later, Hitler marched into the France. The British came and the Americans came into the war. And I talked to my grandpa, and he told me, he said, if they want to win the war, it don't look too good. He said, don't say that, Grandpa. We cannot lose the war. That was not even remotely in my mind that we ever could lose the war, because we were
Hitler,
so conditioned politically. Hitler controlled the newspapers, they controlled the radio. Goebbels, the propaganda minister, he controlled everything else. And we listened to the news, and they told us all.
Guys, I gotta pause it now, cause this is something new to me. I just learned this something new. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, basically, if a military controls the news, and it only feeds the news that people want to hear. The governments control the news, and it feeds the people what they want to hear. It would not risk a revolt, but it would be detrimental for the growth of the country, I think. So yeah, this is something new to me. So yeah, it just reminds me again because this guy was talking about Hitler controlling the media and then feeding people what they only need to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're winning when in reality they're losing the fight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this just reminds me.
They told us all about going on the Western Front and how successful they are and all that. Then we walked outside and we heard the guns. And you say, well, that is too close from what they tell us where they're supposed to be.
Should be interesting to see a German perspective, because all I see is a Western perspective, France perspective of war, and
following their defeat in the
Japanese.
First World War,
So, yeah,
Germany was reeling from the harsh conditions of a peace treaty that left the country shamed and buried in economic crisis. But in 1933, when a radical new leader rose to power, promising to restore Germany and place it at the forefront of world powers, the people were captivated. Adolf Hitler's reign brought swift economic relief, and the German military was quickly on the rise. But his radical political party enforced totalitarianism over the government and the public, making Nazism synonymous with the German way of life.
They had everything organized. You couldn't get lost or fall through the crack. There were no cracks. you were part of it if you liked it or not. I got drafted into the Hitler Youth when I was 10 years old. And they gave us a uniform and all that,
Like thousands of other German boys, Gert Schmitz was swept up in the Hitler Youth. But the draft was not without its benefits.
To me.
Upon graduation, Gert was offered the opportunity to fly with the Luftwaffe.
Forgot about it, something.
They said, do you want to go to a jet pilot training school? We have one in Fulda, Germany. And you go over there and you start training for flying Messerschmitt 262 jets. He says, shoot, yeah.
But before he would reach the airfield, the Allied bombing campaign would reach it first.
And when I got up there, the hangars were bombed, the runways were bombed, the airplanes were bombed. And there was nothing left for us to do. And they said, well, we'll temporarily assign you to a paratrooper outfit and send you to the Western Front So we got on the train that afternoon. We ended up in Pazovar. We talked to the people, the local people there. They heard on the news that the Russians had just come from the south, from the east and south, and cut off that air base where we were. And that was bad news.
Yeah.
Gert may have
Eastern Front
escaped
was
capture by
bloody,
the
bro.
Russians, but
A
now
lot of
he was
people
headed to
died
the
there.
Western Front, where the British and Americans were on the advance, and the German army was in disarray.
That was chaos. The whole German armed forces was in total chaos. We didn't know where they were. I don't know where the headquarters were. You didn't know where the real front was or anything. You know, you're so busy surviving and fighting. We either won here or we lost over there, and then go to the next. We don't know the overall picture. We have no idea what happened. And then we finally marched into Holland. The street was open between the town and the woods where that forest where we were supposed to go into. And it was kind of exposed, you know. And the Allies always flew 8 fighter planes roaming in the sky. They had total sky superiority. And we had to get across that open space, and those guys were flying around there saying, if we go in the column over there, they see us and they're going to mow us down. So, but if you go one guy every 100 feet, they may not even pay attention to us. So it came my time to go across, and the guy paid attention to me. And he came and started shooting at me, and I went into that deep ditch. And as soon as he went past me, I got out and run down toward the woods, and when I came the other way, I jumped back in the ditch. And finally got wise. Instead of going across, he came down alongside the ditch and just unloaded. Bullets flying behind me and in front of me. I mean, there was bullets flying every way.
Shit's
So
crazy,
he got up
bro.
and I ran, and I didn't go back in the ditch. I went all the way into the woods. Yeah, that was kind of nasty. But I hate Mustangs to this day.
Bro, what the bro, pause. It's amazing how we could just like laugh it off. Like, bro, if I was like that person, it would be a nightmare to me to remember that. I've never been shot at, you know. I've never been shot at. I never experienced getting shot at, you know. So I don't know the feeling of getting shot, you know. So the feeling of getting hunted, you know, it should be terrifying.
We were in Ramsdorf.
So I don't know how this guy could
That was
laugh
my
at it.
buddy and I. We were up on one end of town, and we had a bazooka. The tank came down the street, and they started shooting. And we run behind those big logs there, you know, and they couldn't hit us there. He pulled that trigger, and when he hit, it said, woof. He got that warhead right between the tracks in the body. And he just blew the hell out of the inside. And nothing moved anymore after that.
Yo.
There was another tank that was up the street, and we standing in there kind of looking down the street, see what we could do. And they said, I'm going to go on the other side of the street, because it was curved a little bit, he could see better. They said, don't go over there, that tank is up there. And while I was in the middle in the street, that tank shot one round right between his legs. I went over there and got him. The shrapnel went into his uniform and ripped his chest open. And he was sitting with his butt in the street, and he said, and then he collapsed. When we marched into Ramsdorf first earlier, the company commanders told us, they say, you go point to make sure everything is all right. And way later on, after we were supposed to move out, they said, man, we probably want to point again, you know, be the first one on it. And the company commander said, you're the rear guard. So they said, no, you don't want to be on the rear on the way out. You want to be front. But anyway, there was an open field and they wanted to march into the woods. And what we
Yo,
were
he's
way behind
reminiscing
us,
it
rear
like,
guard. They walked into
It
a
just
trap.
happened yesterday,
The
bro.
Americans,
Look at
they
this, how
already
he
were on
tells us
3
the
sides.
story, you know?
And they waited till the whole battalion marched in there and they mowed them down. So the 4 of us, we went off to the right into the woods and disappeared in the woods. And that's how we ended up behind enemy lines.
Gert and his 3 comrades were on their own, disoriented and desperately searching for ever elusive friendly territory.
And then when we finally got into Dulman, it was daylight, and there was a 6-foot fence, a chain link fence. They said, well, that must be a park. Nobody is fighting in the park, so we're going to be pretty safe. So we got over and climbed over that 6-foot fence. GIs walking all over the place there. And they saw us and they started shooting at us. They had a 2.5 truck with machine guns on there. They came around and started shooting at us with that. And then we said, we got to get out of this park. So we jumped over the fence. Then there was tanks on the outside. They said, that ain't not safe either. Let's jump back in the fence. We jumped back over that 6-foot fence. And then that truck came and started shooting at us. We went back over the fence again and went in the other direction, and we saw a pine forest over there, and they said, let's get into that forest and get the heck out of here. And we crawled on our stomach, and we finally got into the woods, and they came after us. And they said, well,
Yo,
let's hide
must be
behind
in
the
panic
trees
mode,
till
you
they
know?
go.
They
If they
being
don't see us, they
hunted.
might go away. And they came and I stood behind a tree. You know, we all stood behind each one of those trees. It's just big enough to hide us. And they said, what I'm gonna do, you know, if we can't run, they're gonna start shooting at us. And I finally, I put my hand out and waved, you know, say,
Surrender, though. So fuck.
and they said, come on out, you know, hands up. And that's how we got captured.
Yo, it's amazing how he can still be comical, you know? This dude, bro.
Now in American custody, intended for relocation to a
Balls of
POW
steel,
camp
yeah.
in the United States, Gert began the long journey across Europe. From prison camp to prison camp, he passed the time by drawing pictures to document his experiences. But before Gert would reach the French coast,
Holy
Germany
shit.
surrendered, the war came to an end, and the prisoners were sent back to their homes. The Germany Gert returned to was very different than he remembered. Hitler was gone, the Nazi Party dissolved, and Gert himself had acquired a fresh perspective.
I didn't realize how bad it was, but then after the war, everything came democratic, you know, and peaceful. And they said, wait a minute, that's a hell of a lot different than what we went
Pause.
through all that.
When the war ended in Germany, does the people of Germany hates their soldiers? Like when they came back after the war as a non-prisoner, did they hate their soldiers? Like what happened to Vietnam, to military of America, you know what I'm saying? When the soldiers of America came from Vietnam, and the people were like anti-war, and they be hating on those people who fought in Vietnam. Like, are those the same things that happen in German? You know, let me know in the comment section though.
That, you know. I didn't know about the full extent of the concentration camp because that was kept so well secret, you know, that we heard about it, you know, but they said that's where murderers go in and wife beaters, you know, and they supposed to be rehabilitated. But they didn't do that.
Shit.
And I didn't know the full extent till I came to the United States.
Following
I
the
remember
war,
the-
Gert immigrated to the U.S., served
Hitler's
with the
ship
Army,
now.
and went on to a career in aerospace
Yeah.
engineering, working alongside Werner von Braun. Gert served his country honorably in the Second World War. But like all of those who survive, regardless of what side, he hopes to one day live in a world free of violent conflict.
War is the stupidest thing that man invented. If you can't talk it out, if you cannot communicate, you start fighting. You have to
Exactly.
do away with your problem. You have to annihilate
Wow.
your problem. But that is not a solution. Yeah, that just create more problem. Don't fight. Talk it out. There got to be a solution. There is always a solution.
Came in first-hand experience from him, you know.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh
So
from
there should
Memoirs
be
of WW2,
credibility
and I just
to
want
what
to say
he said.
thank you for watching this episode, and also give you an opportunity.
Yo guys, that is a German soldier remembers World War II by Memoirs of World War II. We all know it is. Like I said before, you know what I'm saying? He said it like, war is the most stupidest thing man invented, you know. And he's right, you know what I'm saying? If you could just talk it out, why do you even need to shoot each other? Like, sit down, have a coffee, have a tea, whatever you want, you know, talk it out. You don't need to go to war with each other, bro. That's just stupid as hell. And you can't even diss the guy, you know. You can't even diss the soldier, the old man, you know what I'm saying? Because he lived through it. He has credibility to back it up. He lived through that war, you know. So yeah. Anyways, I remember the Hitler Yacht now. It sounds so familiar to me, but I've watched it before in Oversimplified, I think. So yeah. I remember it was like I'm guessing, alright? It was a organization that seems to like drafted kids and then brainwash them with propaganda. Is that the Hitler Yacht? Because that's what I think I remember from Oversimplified. So yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, comment section. So that's it guys, you know. A lot of shit coming on, stop the war, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't just do anything. You know, you're not even profiting from that war. Sure, they're gonna say like, oh, you serve your country very well, stuff like that. But by the end of the day, you're not the one who's profiting it. You know, it's the one that is initiating the war that's profiting from it. You know, so yeah. Also, the question that I asked before, does the German veteran from World War II get treated like how the veteran from Vietnam was treated? You know, they were like called murderer, child killer, stuff like that. Are they treated like that in German? You know, because I really don't know. It's very interesting to see the perspective of German soldier, because I've seen the perspective of Japanese from YouTube before. I've watched it before. I've seen also the western part like America, France and shit. I've never seen German's perspective, so this is the first time I react to it, like I said. Anyways, you know the drill guys, you know, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button for post notifications. If you have any suggestions, comment down